Hey guys, Cam Wild Touring. I bought some new deflators a couple of weeks ago. So the All for Adventure boys, they have a line of products called CampBoss, and these are the Boss Air deflators. So they're a Tyre deflator. Traditionally, what I would have used is one of these quickie deflators. This is not an ARB brand one, it's some cheaper aftermarket one. The way these CampBoss deflators work is you can actually set your pressures. There's PSI indications on them. You set your pressure, there's a locking screw to lock that pressure in, set them once and then it's set and forget. So I've got these all set to 18 pound. So these are a lot slower per tyre than this is, but the beauty of these are that you can stick all 4 on at one time and then just leave them. And overall, I think, and I'm going to test it today, I think these are a hell of a lot quicker than using these. These are quicker per tyre, but it's labour intensive. You're down there at each tyre, you got to screw it onto your Schrader valve, remove the core, and then you're down there checking it and whatnot. It lets more air out at a time, but you can only do 1 tyre at a time. These you can do 4 at a time. Anyway, on that note, I thought that's what I would do. I would show you a bit of a comparison between the two. So I've got my tyres all pumped up to 40 PSI. I'm going to be driving onto the beach, so I want to be down to about 18 PSI for my car. So I've got these all set at 18 pound. I'll let the tyres down with this. I'll time it. We'll see how quick it is. Then I'll pump them back up to 40 pound and I'll let them down with the quickie style deflator and we'll see what's quicker. So we can start that timer now. Letting them do their thing for a couple of minutes. So we can stop the clock there. Let's just check the tyre pressures on the pressure monitoring system. And they are all over the place. That's So the Boss Air deflators came in at 3 minutes 50 seconds, but as you saw in that clip, 2 of the tyres stopped well short of set pressures, so I had to go back and let them down again. I actually filmed this several times and had inconsistency issues each time with different deflators stopping well off the mark, but I'll talk a bit more about that at the end. Let's pump these tyres back up and see if the valve removing deflator is any slower. The reason I'm able to run my air compressor without the engine running and off the auxiliary batteries is because I run a lithium battery bank. Well, actually only one lithium battery now, 150 amp hour ALLSPARK lithium battery. If you're interested in the battery setup in this car, then I'll put a link in the bottom to a video where we did the build and I discussed what I've actually got in here to be able to run all this. Righto, let's give this other one a whirl. And we can start the clock now. Stop the camera there, or the timer, sorry. Righto, so I'll have to check the footage to see which one was quicker. I don't even know. It was very close, not too sure. But the difference is obviously this one, set and forget, screw it on, you can have a beer, a bag of chips. This one, more labor intensive, you're on the floor, you're on the knees. The only thing I'll say about these CampBoss things, and it happened this time as well, I filmed this twice. I've only used this maybe now 4 or 5 times, and I've found half the time I screw them on and they don't start deflating straight away, which is cool. It says that in the instructions. Sometimes you got to give this a little plunge like that and then it starts deflating. That's sweet. But then sometimes it stops and I give it another little, it doesn't look fully deflated, so I give it another little pull and it still stopped and I go, huh, must be fully deflated. So I unscrew it and I put my tyre pressuring monitoring thing on, and it'll be at like, just then it was at 29 pound, it wasn't fully deflated. So I screw it back on, I plunge it again, and then it starts deflating again, and it gets down to 18 pound. So that has even happened twice on one tyre. So I did film that twice. The first time, twice on a couple of these, it didn't fully deflate. And so I stuffed around, checking the pressure, putting it on again. And I thought, not really a fair comparison. So I filmed it twice, but just take that into account. These are quick when they're all working correctly, but occasionally they don't let right down. And I've had to check my pressure and put them on again and keep pulling this until it starts deflating a little bit. I don't know. This is not a long-term review. I haven't had these for very long. I've only used them a handful of times. Interested to know from you guys in the comments, if you've already got these and you've been using them for a while, are you finding the same? These are brand new, so it's not like they've never been dropped in the sand or the dirt. I haven't opened them up and lubed them or anything like that because they're brand new. Maybe I need to do that. What do you guys reckon? Be interested to see in the comments. So I've just finished reviewing and editing this video for you, well, thereabouts, and I just wanted to add a couple of points. This deflator I've been using is probably 6 or 7 years old. I think it was about 30 bucks. It's never had any sort of maintenance or anything like that, and it works consistently every single time. These Boss Air deflators are only 4 or so weeks old. I've probably only used them half a dozen times, and they've been inconsistent at least 50% of the time. They are new. I haven't pulled them apart and cleaned them or anything like that. Maybe I need to do that, I'm not sure. But yeah, they were $120, so 4 times the price of this. They're new and they're not doing the job. It's not an accuracy issue. They advertise that they're accurate within 2 PSI. If that was the case, I'd be happy with that. If I'd set to 18 and I was getting 20 or 16 PSI, they would be doing as advertised and I'd be okay with that. It's not an accuracy issue, it's consistency. I'm setting them at 18 pound from 40 and I'm getting, they're stopping at 35 or 30 or 25, pretty much half the time. So on that note, I also put a post out on Facebook on a full drive group over here in Perth, and I asked, who's got these? Are you happy with them? Do you have any issues with them? Do you rate them? Would you recommend them? And I got 7 responses from people that have had them for varying lengths of time. 6 of the 7 people said that they also had dramas with inconsistencies like me. Only 1 of the 7 people said that he'd had them for a period of time, was happy with them. So take that all into account. And then, yeah, the other thing was, I was really shocked that there was only 10 seconds between them. All for Adventure did a video where they compared 2 of these style deflators as well. And I think this valve core removal one came in at like just over 5 minutes or something. And their Boss Air deflators for their test came in around 3 minutes. So these were nearly double the speed. That was certainly not my experience. I found them very, very close. It would depend on the size of the tyre and what pressures you were setting to. I'm running a 265/75/16, so about a 32-inch tyre, and I was deflating from 40 psi to 18 psi, which is regularly the sort of pressures that I would be deflating to. So yeah, for me in my test, 10 seconds between them. So yeah, take that all into account. If you're like me and you've already got one of these style deflators and you saw these being advertised and you thought, you know, that would make the job a hell of a lot easier, maybe this video will help you out making that decision. I really wanted to like these. I love the idea of just set and forget. Screw them all on and then you can run around the car and, you know, do like a pre-trip inspection or have a beer or make a phone call or whatever. It's not hard on your knees. You don't have to be bending down on the floor and all the rest of it. So there's a lot of positives if this worked correctly, but in my experience, it didn't. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I know this video is going to cop a little bit of negative feedback. If you don't have really positive things to say about a product, you always cop a bit of crap, but so be it. It's just my experience. Like I said, I've only had these for 4 weeks, used them half a dozen times, and this has just been my experience so far. I'm not an expert on the matter, but hopefully someone gets something out of this. Cheers, guys.
What's the color that lies within?